The tea is exceptionally good today. Who made this? Very delicious. Hold on.
Hey, my cosmic cousins, it's your girl Nova Charm, and welcome to another episode of Astrology Tea with Nova Charm. And on today's episode, we are taking a final look of that Uranus in Taurus, because it's getting ready to go direct on February 4th. Now, we have been maneuvering through this energy since 2018, and as we are coming out of this final retrograde of retroflect, Uranus in Taurus is asking us, what the hell did we learn? That's right, this energy is giving final exam, and you already know I got the tea to let you know what this energy is finna be. But before I get too deep into it, you already know what to do, cosmic cousins. Go on and hit that like, go on and subscribe to your girl if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this cosmic tea that I be wanting to sip with y'all. Now let's get into it. Now, if you caught my Uranus and Taurus and retrograde video, you already got a head start. You already know what the energy was about. You already know what you were supposed to be reflecting on. And now that this energy is going direct, you're able to take whatever you learned and apply it. Now, if you didn't, don't trip, because you already know I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of review. Now, Uranus being the planet of radical change, innovation, that futuristic type of energy, technology, aliens, astrology, that rebel energy that goes against the systems and brings you closer to community. This energy also reflects that uniqueness and standing out in a crowd. That being said, being paired with the earth sign like Taurus is actually not an easy transit, okay? Uranus also represents that shock, electricity, that sudden change. And Taurus, well, Taurus is the earth sign first and foremost. It represents stability, security, and Uranus damn sure ain't the planet to give that. Taurus energy represents that material world around us, our finances, our self-worth. It also deals with our land and agriculture, which means it has a direct effect on our food. And when it comes to those things that give us that security, like our food, having land, having material items, having money in our bank account, these are the things that provide us security, you know? And for the last 7 years, those things have been challenged beyond belief. And that has everything to do with Uranus being in Taurus. And on February 4th, we are collectively entering our final pressure point of this chapter, which if I had to give this chapter a name, it would be the revolution of value. Because that's exactly what it was. This energy has systematically dismantled this outdated financial, agriculture, and just overall how we feel about materials. This whole paradigm has completely been flipped over the top of its head, and we are moving into a more authentic and technical, integrated existence. Now, whether you're ready for it or not, here it is. Now, to truly understand the revolutionary steps that have been taken during this time, we got to break it down. That's right, y'all. We taking this all the way from the top, okay? Now, let's talk about Uranus for a little bit, okay? This is the liberator. Now, Uranus was first discovered in 1781 via telescope, okay? Now, this discovery was considered to be revolutionary. Now, since this was such a global revolutionary event, they said, well, let's just go ahead and say this is what this means. And they felt like it was rebellious. They felt like this was innovative. So Uranus was labeled as the Great Awakener, which is a force that shakes up the individual and the collective and shakes us up out of our complacency and brings in that necessary evolution. Now, the reason why Uranus is so rebellious is because it got a little tilt to it. It got a little 98-degree tilt to it, which means it's kind of rotating on its side, which is completely different than the other planets. So this makes Uranus rotation completely unique. So this is where it gets its rap for being unconventional and weird and different things like that. And Uranus pretty much like, fuck what y'all talking about. You know, I come to do my thing my way. Now, Aquarius heard this. It was like, that sound like fun. That's where I finna move. Now, Aquarius was traditionally ruled by Saturn. But we know how Pop Saturn gets down. It's restrictive. You got to be responsible over there. You can't be getting out of line with them boundaries. There's a system that needs to be followed. There's a hierarchy. Aquarius is like, I'm not with all this shit, okay? I gotta go. And just like that, Pop Saturn agreed to allow Aquarius to move into his mama Uranus house, okay? And then it became a 2-planet household. Just like that. Capricorn's way too structured. It said, I'm going to just hold it down. I'm going to keep building the legacy over here because I'm trying to be in the wheel. Okay, I ain't got time for that. Aquarius was like, fine. Along with it, it took its higher consciousness. It took its electricity. It took the internet, its humanitarian vibes, its friendships, and all its uniqueness with it. Okay? And just like that, the Uranian influence was recognized and set in stone. Okay? And we've been here ever since. Now, with that being said, the energy over there is very much what the fuck. Okay? It's very much WTF. Now, y'all know one of the things that I do say on this channel as far as Mercury is concerned and Jupiter. I feel like Jupiter is an expanded version of Mercury. However, Uranus also carries a lot of energy of expansion of Mercury as well, especially when it comes to the communication, the innovation, data, all of that jazz, okay? Now, while Mercury deals with the logical processing of data, Uranus deals with the divine intelligence and the ability to perceive reality through a higher vantage point. Taking technology, which is really a Mercury thing, because it deals with the communication portion, and innovating it to something a lot bigger. Now, because of the fact that Uranus sits so far out, this influence is generational. It takes 84 years for it to orbit around the sun, and it stays 7 years in each sign. So this pretty much defines the revolutionary spirit of each age group. It's all about being progressive, and especially when it comes to humanity. Like, Uranus is very much for the people. Fuck what you talking about. Now, we got that energy in Taurus. Now, Taurus is a lot different than Uranus, okay? It's a lot calmer. It's ruled by Venus, which deals with love, beauty, and money. It's concerned about preservation of life. It's worried about resources and just enjoying those pleasures out of life, because Taurus rules our sensories, the things that we like to see, touch, taste, hear. It wants to enjoy the earthly goods and the earthly things around us, and that's what we're here for. We're here to enjoy those things. Taurus is the second zodiac on the zodiac wheel, and Aries is the first. It represents that I am. So as whereas Aries represents that I am, Taurus represents that I have. It is those things that are around us that is directly outside of self. Those things that we need to survive. It's very steadfast and patient. And because of the fact that it is a fixed sign, it is very motivated and focused on whatever it is. It's going to stick to whatever it got going. That ultimately gives Taurus this energy of determination, which can easily come off as stubborn at times, but it's looking at things through a realistic lens. It's also incredibly loyal as far as when it commits to something. Because of the fact that it does like materials, it does have the tendency to be a little possessive, like a little bit of mind's energy, With this being said, Uranus and Taurus was very incompatible, okay? Putting those two together was like us being in the midst of a toxic relationship for 7 years. We literally did a bit with them, but it was necessary. I mean, after all, Uranus is all about that innovation. Now, Taurus energy definitely was getting its hammer on and being an unmovable force within Uranus. And Uranus was just being Uranus, okay? It was being radical. It was reconfiguring every time you turn around. It had an impact on everything that was Taurus related. We're talking about finances, we're talking about agriculture, land ownership, as well as the human body and our food. Now, over the past 7 years, we've transitioned from physical cash and office-bound labor to one of digital currency, as well as decentralized work models, as far as work from home type situations. I don't care if you in an office or not, ain't nobody still dealing with the physical filing system of writing things out and filing them into a file cabinet. Everything is digital now. So let's talk about it. Starting with the finances. During the past 7 years, there was definitely a surge of cryptocurrencies. Now, cryptocurrency was definitely Uranus coded, okay? It broke all the rules. It came in breaking the rules. And it came in this era challenging everything that we know about traditional banking systems and introduced to us the gig economy. Gig economy is all about robots and algorithms, okay? It replaced the unskilled labor and the remote work became standard. We all remember the 2020 when the whole world shut down. We could pretty much assume that's when Taurus had settled into Uranus. Another big topic that this energy brings about is our food systems and the earth. Now, Uranus has revolutionized how humans harvest and how they protect their resources, but it also brought in a lot of disruptions as well. Disruptions when it comes to our supplies. Y'all remember the great toilet paper shortage? That was crazy. But this is what I'm talking about when I say basic needs. All of these things that had happened really forced us to take a reconsideration what we call security. And all of this has been going down since May of 2018. I mean, think about how many times our government done shut down and caused people's SNAP benefits to be paused and different things like that. Think about how many major businesses and corporations that have closed down since 2018, ultimately forcing people to figure out different ways to get their money. All I'm saying is Uranus was definitely doing its thing. And now that we're closing out this chapter, we are walking into the final exam of this energy. I myself am very excited for this. And I am very interested in what it's going to look like with this energy in Gemini. But before we get to that Gemini energy, Taurus has one last thing that it wants to say. Now, keeping in mind, Taurus won't hit its final degree of the 29th degree, which is that fated degree. You know, I always talk about that 29th degree on this channel, but that won't be happening until April. So we still got a little bit of time to soak in what Uranus and Taurus was teaching us and the energy that we need to walk away with in order to get us to this next stage. And speaking of the degrees, let's talk about it, because when it first comes out of retrograde, it's going to be in the 27th degree, and the degree from 27 to 29. This is where, if you are still resistant to this energy, you are going to face a lot of challenges. I'm going to just keep it 100. I tell y'all all the time on this channel, the cosmos be having a conversation. We just be here listening, okay? Now, yes, we are part of the cosmos. We are stars. We are energy, all that. Yes, 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 indeed, okay? But the universe is going to do what the universe is going to do. And just like if we were floating on a body of water, we have to relax and go with the current. So this phase is the closure and completion. Now, the energy, of course, is going to feel it the most is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. These are all the fixed signs. So that tells you how real it is. Even though Uranus is very wild and pretty much does its own thing, it's still fixed on doing its own damn thing, okay? It's still got fixed energy behind it. And Taurus being a fixed earth, well, the cosmos really didn't give us a choice, did they? So where do we need to get with the program at? When it comes to integration over innovation. So the focus goes from all of the new changes, because they've already been introduced all this whole damn time, to acceptance. Okay, this is a time where it's time to accept the things that have changed. And I know you're like, no, we don't have to. The universe says you do. Okay, now of course you have the option to do it your way, but it's going to happen whether you're ready for it to or not. And I told y'all that months ago. Now, you can, of course, try to book up at the energy, but the energy is going to do what the energy is going to do. So good luck with that, okay? This is also a time of resolutions of resistance. This period definitely invites us to revisit the instabilities that we've all avoided and the changes that we've resisted since 2018, especially when it comes to relying on each other, relying less on the systems, seeing the things that we could start doing for ourselves to start taking more action so that we are not relying on the systems as much. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. If you remember correctly, I talked about starting to grow your own food and everything. And we found out the secrets and everything that's been going on with the food and how a lot of this stuff is being made in a factory or 3D print, Campbell's. I'm just saying. We've even stopped shopping at certain retailers based on what they stand for. So that's very much Uranus in Taurus energy, okay? So by this time, we should know who to fool with and we should know who not to. Okay, we should have been taking notes. And finally, this last stage is about solidifying our new reality. This is a time where we stop evaluating the possibilities that retrograde energy was allowing us to do, and we start living in it, okay? Now, we also have to live with the consequences of our choices. So we always want to make sure that we are making the best choice for ourselves. This is where the uniqueness comes into play. Now, consistency is not Uranus's game. Okay, that's not his strong suit, and neither is stability. However, because of the fact of that, it has forced us to step up our game and elevate our stability on our own terms. And by doing so, it allows us to step away from the illusion of what appears to be security and actually give us that real authentic security. This energy is also teaching us to raise the vibration of money, align with our spending and our earning, with our true priorities and our true values, rather than what is expected of us just in society. This energy has also taught us to embrace our authenticity. We got to release the outdated self-concepts of who we think others want us to be and just be who we are supposed to be, which is ourselves. Don't just say things because you feel like that's what other people want to hear. Say it because that's what you truly feel. There is no more faking the funk. As Taurus gets ready to pack its bags, it's giving us its final wake-up call. And you know I'm about to give you the tea per rising sign. So let's get into it. Now, Aries rising, your revolution has been in your bank account. And this one was a rough one for you, wasn't it? This energy was in your second house for the 7 years. And I know this one was hard for you, okay? You have definitely felt this energy emphasized, okay? All these ups and downs that you've had with your money, as well as the issues that you've had with your self-worth. Well, this energy was meant to teach you about what you find value in. You've also learned that your worth isn't tied to a paycheck, but your ability to be able to generate resources from thin air. Just know your reality check didn't bounce, boo. You're in a higher tax bracket now, okay? Take what you learned about diversification and go on and make it happen. Now, for my Taurus risings, this energy was definitely felt for you as well. This was in your first house, the house itself. Uranus has been reigning terror over your whole entire existence for the past 7 years. Now, during this time, I'm sure you've had a lot of sudden changes when it comes to your appearance and your personal life and just your overall lifestyle. One thing's for sure, you are no longer as predictable as you once were. And you become lightning fast when it comes to building the comfort within your own life. And it's official. The bull has left the china shop and is now wearing the cape. Stop playing. Now, for my Gemini risings, this energy was in your 12th house for the last 7 years. For you, this was like doing a 7-year bid. You are definitely doing the final countdown for your jailbreak, okay? Now, as we know, that 12th house is about those secrets, karmas, and subconscious, as well as our dreams. This was a long period of internal work. And this work was very much needed because Uranus is going to be headed to your first house. But you're a little bit more flexible than Taurus, so you might actually like it there. One thing's for sure, though. You've realized that freedom is an internal state of mind and has nothing to do with what's on the outside. Now, for my Cancer risings, this energy has been in your 11th house. Now, this is the Aquarius Uranus house. So you're definitely one of the ones who's been feeling it as well for the past 7 years. Like, we all been feeling it, just in different areas. But some of the areas is a little bit more potent than others. This is definitely one of those potent placements, okay? With that being said, that 11th house deals with the community, friends, long-term dreams, as well as that rebellious spirit and that own unique identity, baby. Now, you've definitely upgraded your tribe. You've stepped far away from those superficial social circles. You only interested in being around other people who match your energy of evolution. You've definitely learned to find comfort within your own unique self. Now, there are some friends who didn't like that, but they fake asses had to go. The ones who really love you are the ones who are here for the new version of you. And that's just what it is. Now, for my Leo risings, this energy was sitting in your 10th house of career, public reputation. It's that Saturn house. It was over there with the discipline and everything. Now, I'm sure you done had some wild changes as far as your career is concerned, because this is definitely leaning a little bit more towards that area. This energy probably forced you to walk away from roles that felt super secure to you, but never offered you any type of true freedom. You stopped allowing other people to guide your destiny and took over that motherfucking driver's seat yourself. You was tripping anyway. Everything you do is supposed to be from the heart. Now, for my Virgo risings, For the past 7 years, Uranus has been in your ninth house of higher learning, travel, and your belief system. Your spiritual journey was long and full of ups and downs. The way you view the world right now is completely different. Now, a lot of y'all have probably seen the world in a physical way, but one thing is true for all of my Virgo risings. You have definitely learned more about the world through the internet. You've seen a lot, you discovered a lot. You might even have learned some new languages during this time. And like I said, a lot of y'all got some stamps in y'all's passports. A lot of y'all been traveling like a mug. But through this entire journey, the more you broaden your horizons, the more everything else in your life just expanded. Because the ninth house is about our abundance as well. You standing in your new truth and your new wisdom. And it's all about what's authentic to you. And I'm proud of you, Virgo risings. Now, for my Libra risings, this energy falls in your 8th house. Now, the 8th house energy deals with our intimate relationships, our shared resources, our trust, and our deep transformations. It is very likely that you've had to go through massive ups and downs when it comes to power struggles as far as financial advice from partners. You've probably been dabbling in a lot of stocks and cryptocurrencies during this time. I mean, the energy was all about it. But the most important thing that you learned was how to master your own energy. And one of the main ways of doing that is by being completely honest. And not just a fake surface type of honesty, that deep, impactful honesty that allows you to stop giving your power away and finally find that true balance that you need. Now, for my Scorpio risings, this energy fell in your 7th house of partnerships. Now, Scorpio risings, you and Libra risings definitely could have learned a thing or two for one another. That's why Libra risings was finding their balance through their power. You are finding your balance through liberation. More than likely during this time, since 2018, you've experienced some of the most transformative relationships that you've ever experienced in your whole entire life. Everybody felt like a damn soulmate. But don't worry, through it all, you've discovered that the right partner is going to let you be free. Love doesn't look like possession, and it damn sure don't look like control. Now, for my Sagittarius risings, this fell in your 6th house of daily routines, health, work, and just overall rhythm of life. Now, you've had 7 years of some of the most hectic schedule that you've ever experienced. There was no such thing as a boring schedule for the past 7 years for you. Everything was completely unconventional, especially your wellness. Now you have a clear understanding of what works for you specifically and what rhythm helps support your overall physical body and your overall rhythm of life. Your health has definitely become your wealth. And we know that you are definitely that freedom lover. But one of the main things that you learned is true freedom comes from being able to put together that to-do list that works for you. And a 9-to-5 does not have to actually be a 9-to-5. Now, for my Capricorn risings, this energy was in your 5th house of self-expression. This was all about getting back into those creative passions for you. Now, I know with Pop Saturn overall ruling your chart, y'all run a pretty strict program over there. However, Uranus was like, put the love back in there. Put that heart back in there. I really need you to feel what you're doing. This energy was all about enjoying the pleasures of life and understanding how to use your time in a more productive way that's best suited for you. This energy allowed you to broaden your boundaries and have a little bit of fun, especially when it comes to your dating and overall romantic life. This energy for the past 7 years could also have brought a lot of changes when it came to your children. All in all, this energy taught you that there is no real rules that you have to follow because you're the boss. I mean, you set your own rules. That's what Capricorn risings do, period. Now, my Aquarius risings. Now, Uranus is your ruler, so you are so used to all the sporadicness of everything, but this did hit your 4th house, your house of family and home. And I know there was probably a lot of shakeups when it came to your home. You probably either ended with some type of renovations or had some big unexpected moves. Probably a lot of unexpected changes came within your family dynamic as well. You were really digging deep and getting down to the root of things. When it came to healing family dynamics, you were definitely pruning those things out. That 4th house gets real deep, along with that 8th house and that 12th house. Through it all, the foundation has been rebuilt, and by the time you get finished, you're going to love that view. Now, for my Pisces risings, this energy was in your 3rd house of communications, learning, and local community, as well as your ideas and transportation. You probably went through a few cars during this time. You done stepped up your game on your technology. And you also have a very innovative perspective of life now. You've traded in being liked for being real. You know, third house deals with all of that social stuff. And at this point, you're only in the business for communicating with people that elevate your mind. Pisces risings, you are finally speaking your truth. And baby, let me tell you, it's a bestseller. Now, cosmic cousins, as we step into this new era of Uranus and Gemini, this is going to be an energy that we never experienced before. And if we had, we were too young to even care. And if we are here now experiencing it again, we too old to give a damn, okay? So chances are, if you're listening to this, this is something that you've never witnessed, okay? With that being said, come April, our lives are going to elevate from our internal values to lightning-paced mental and technology shifts. This 7-year journey has definitely awakened us to some crazy things, okay? Uranus allows us to be able to see things for what it really is by showing how easily things can be just taken away in a snap, as well as put together just like that. Now, looking back, I'm sure every single last one of us can all honestly admit that we do not have the same attachments or even the same way of thinking that we did in 2018. And this energy has definitely awakened the bull to our deeper inner freedom, as well as our overall resilience, that we can withstand anything that's being thrown our way, even when our world is shaking even under our very feet of land. We are using that bull energy to beast our way through liberation and a future forward system that was designed for the people, by the people. Now, with that being said, cosmic cousins, you already know what to do. If you made it this far, go on and give me a like. Go on and hit the subscribe if you haven't already. What are you waiting for? And hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this cosmic tea that I'll be trying to sip with y'all. And I'm out, cosmic cousins.